What does Coulson make of this Ghost Rider guy?
He thinks he's kind of finally maybe understands what's out there between the Inhumans and Asgardians and the Tesseract, and all of a sudden here's this guy with a flaming skull, and it doesn't seem to fit into any of those categories. And I think very quickly they start to realize that this guy's also really hard to kill. Coulson knows what it's like to be hard to kill. But it opens up the magical part of the Marvel Universe, and gives us a whole new playground to play in that's dark and scary, and we're in October now, so it's good. I think we're going to have some very scary Halloween episodes.
Right. Good timing. The character of Jeffrey Mace, who's now the director, and of course in the comics was once Captain America, we know that Coulson is a big Cap fan. He had the trading cards and everything in the Avengers. Is there more to the history between Coulson and Mace that maybe ties into that in some way?
I think we're doing it a little bit differently on our show, as we always do. My recollection of the comics is the Patriot was the guy who stepped in after Cap disappeared into the ice. So we've definitely moved things into a different time zone. So I don't know that Coulson has any history. For Coulson, let's be real, there's only one Cap, and his name is Steve Rogers. And he's ready to scrap with anyone who says differently. It's interesting that we have a powered person, an Inhuman at the head of S.H.I.E.L.D., and it's going to be interesting to find out what role, if any, Coulson played in that being the case.
What do you think, how does Coulson feel about the fact that his team is really sort of dispersed when you look back at the first season, and now, obviously Ward is, what happened to him, and then now Daisy is off doing her thing. Is that like a personal, affront to him, or?
No, I don't think it's an affront. I think he understands that Daisy feels like everyone she gets close to gets killed off, and Coulson got injured by her at the end of last season, and I think he understands why she's gone, and it's just very, very hard for him. All the things that make this really difficult, the things you just said about how dispersed the team is, all the things that make it really hard for Coulson make it really exciting for me, because the one thing that our writers, Jed and Mo Whedon and Jeff Bell and all our terrific writers, they really tear the thing apart and bring in another Marvel element, the magic, the stuff that might connect with Doctor Strange in some oblique way, I don't know. It makes it very exciting to read the scripts, because you're kind of like, oh no, they did not. And we've already had 2 or 3 of those, and I'm only reading episode 8 right now.
Now, as an actor who obviously is also a fan of the source material, just as a kind of a nerdy sort of question, we're getting Ghost Rider, is there another cool character from the comics that you would just like to see and interact with?
God, there's so many that I loved. So many of the ones I really loved as a kid, they're now smoking on Netflix. I mean, I was a big Iron Fist and Luke Cage fan, and those are 2 of the ones. I mean, Iron Fist is coming out, but I've been binging Luke Cage and just loving it. I've said often Iron Fist was one of my favorite ones, so I'm excited about that. I was a big Adam Warlock fan, and who knows, maybe that'll show up in the Guardians part of the galaxy at some point.
Yeah.